Hello everyone. So today we're going to study about another element of a story, which is setting. So let's get started. Firstly, I'm only going to give you an overview, and then we're going to um, deep dive into it, what it is exactly. So setting is when and where the story happens. All right. So what is the location of the story? Is it happening during summers, or is it happening during winters, or it happened last January, or it has happened in Dubai, or any other um, uh, you know uh, country or city, or just under the tree, for example. So it is when and where the story happens. So setting helps in creating the atmosphere of the story. You get to know that what the action, the where the action is taking place, what is the location or the time period of the story. So for example, if we talk about places, for example, this action is happening at the church. All right, so you'll what you're gonna do, you're gonna just imagine yourself that the two characters, or the two, maybe more than two characters, are at the church, in the market, for example, near or inside the hospital, by the beach, or under the beach, or under the bridge, for example. So it is the physical location and point in time where your plot takes place. Point in time, that means on his birthday, for example, on 12th of January. All right. So the setting of your story is both physical location and point in time in which your plot takes place. Plot is the sequence of events, the actions that are taking place in the story. For some stories, setting is a huge part of a story. You can build a whole new world with its own languages and creatures. In this case, the setting almost acts as its own character in your tale. Tale means story. So setting, so they're referring setting as a character. All right, because it gives a very vivid description in your reading, and gives a very beautiful experience of reading. Your story must take place somewhere. Setting is where and when the story takes place, the physical location and time period. Some stories have only one setting, while others have several settings. For example, one story is just happening, for example, near the hospital. All right, but in huge in thick novels, you'll see, or in detailed movies or detailed stories, extended story, you'll get to know stories, you'll get to know that the locations are changing. All right, the characters are sitting under the bridge, and in the next moment they're sitting in their couch at home. All right, the setting will be changed according to the plot. That means the sequence of events in the story taking place. Story can have an overarching or overall setting and smaller settings within it. For example, Pride and Prejudice takes place in England. Lizzie travels through several locations in the country. Alright, so Pride and Prejudice is a story that took place in England, and the Lizzie, who is the character, travels through several locations in the country. The smaller settings within the story include individual homes and stays like Longbourn, Netherfield Park, and Pomberley. Alright, so these are the settings too, the smaller settings. Alright, setting also includes time periods. You might be sorry, this might be a year or an era. You can be less specific in your time period, like modern day or near future, but it is still important component of your setting. So setting, you need to keep in mind where and when. All right, these are the two things that you keep in mind: where it is taking place and when it is taking place. All right. So for example, we're going to get married at church in the 12th of March. Alright, so this sentence is answering both the questions when and where. So setting is when and where the story happens. It helps in creating the atmosphere of the story. I hope everything is clear to you about the element of a story, or the element of or the elements of a story, or the feature of a story. All right. So that's it for today. I hope everything is clear to you. Allah Hafiz.